wonder how many views that car video I made has. Let's go take a look. $6,000 views? But I'm not even a car YouTuber. Guess it's time for a sequel.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Krypno here. How you doing? As some of you who have been following my channel may have noticed, it's been a while. So because of the coronavirus, they've put a kibosh on almost everything, including my school, of which I happened to quit my job at Vaughn's that I was at for like 2.5 years to go to school, only to have it shut down within 2.5 weeks of me doing it. So, but nonetheless, I'm still doing good. I am in the midst of searching for a job right now, but as you saw from the intro from this video, we're doing a little something different. We're making a sequel to the most popular video on my channel, which you can see up here, about my old little car, the Nissan Altima. So that video was made in November of 2016, which it is now almost 4 years later. And obviously, I do not drive that car anymore because I now live in California, and trying to smog a car that's over 20 years old is really difficult, especially when there's more than just the emissions that go wrong with the car. What ended up having me sell it is not just the hoops that I've jumped through, not to mention the fact that I got a ticket for driving an unregistered vehicle in California. The brake lines failed, so even when you would put your foot on the brake pedal, it would lock up, and the car would go. And my dad attempted to fix it, but it was extremely difficult. So we ended up selling it for about $300. And in the meantime, until I have what I hope to be a Honda Civic. Got this guy right here. Now this is a 2000 Ford Ranger that we've had for about also almost 4 years, which I believe in the video in the top right corner of your screen I also mentioned. We got this in replacement for my father's, he had an Infiniti that basically was the Infiniti version of the Lexus LS 400 that was inherited by my late grandfather. And it got rear-ended, unfortunately. So my dad picked this guy up for about $3,000 back when I lived in Arizona, and it's been through a lot. We are engine number 3, not 1, not 2, but 3. There might have been more before we purchased this vehicle, but as long as we've had this is our 3rd engine. Our first engine, I forget exactly how it failed, but it failed. And my dad purchased another engine. It's a 4-liter V6 that makes about 200 to 220 horsepower. So not too shabby. This thing can rip a fat Bernie when you want to. My dad purchased the 2nd engine, and we decided to put it upon ourselves to fix it. Now I think it was a cracked engine block because we basically tore the whole thing down, got a new engine block, and put everything back together, stuck it in. Sure enough, it started. But then over the course of a little while, so before we first fully moved here, my dad was the first one to come back out here, and he was going back and forth. He had a place. We were still living in Gilbert, and he had a place down in, I think, Studio City that he would commute to and from, and this was his vehicle. And right as he was getting off the 210, or I forget it was the 210 or something before the 210, before you get to the 10, out in like San Bernardino, the engine seized up. I believe there's this ring inside one of the piston, inside one of the cylinder housings that like came loose, and so oil like kind of like spewed and kind of put metal into the combustion chamber. I believe that's what had happened. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I believe that's what happened. And so we busted engine number 2. But thankfully, we had some good news and some bad news going forward. Good news is we had a warranty on the engine. Bad news is, sure enough, fulfilling that warranty took a while, like almost 2 years a while. So engine number 2 seized up in about beginning of 2017, and we took it to a. Now I'm not going to call them out because I'm not that much of an asshole, but this particular engine repair place we were at were not very prudent on getting it done on time. They had no, like, not motivation, but like they didn't have the I don't know if it was like laziness or something like that, but this wasn't higher on their priority list. So it ended up taking about 2 years to finally fix the engine that we could now currently have. That's still the 4-liter V6. And we eventually got it back in January of 2019. And other than a few, mishaps with other mechanical parts, so we've had pretty good luck with this engine number 3, and she's still going strong. The only issue that we're having now that's prudent and will need to be fixed relatively soon is this thing gets like 14 miles to the gallon. Now, on engine number 1, when we had it, it made about 18 to 19, which is not great, but it's not terrible. Like, it's not too bad. But now it's get like 14 miles to the gallon. So that is the next thing we're going to look up on how we're doing. And yeah. Another thing that happened with this guy is I had a bit of a collision. So cut to this image. It is, I was on my way to an appointment of mine. And I was going into the parking spot. And I thought I was pressing the brake pedal, when in fact I pressed the gas pedal, and I ended up smashing the front of the bumper, not terribly, but it's still decent enough to where it looked terrible. And obviously my insurance rates went up, because go figure, that's generally what happens when that sort of thing happens. But, still nothing too bad. We ended up replacing the front bumper and front grille, and other than the fact that it sits kind of low right here, it's looking pretty good in my opinion. So those are some of the main big hurdles that happened. I'm going to cut to some areas of the car that are of keen interest right about now. So here's another topic of interest for my vehicle. The ghetto-ass sticker over the cracked windshield. Gentlemen out there, if you happen to come to my house and break my windshield, it's not appreciative. Don't do that. So that happened to us. We woke up one morning, came to the car, and happened to be cracked. And yeah, so I taped it over it because I don't have a means quite yet to fix it. I did research it a little bit. It costs around $250, at least nearby my house, to fix this guy. And that is because they do not make a Chinese, well, if they do, they don't have it, a Chinese kind of clone of this glass window. It's a genuine Ford part. So if you in the comment section down below know how to make a cheap happen to know where you can find a cheap driver's side quarter glass window for a 2000 Ford Ranger, let me know in the comments down below. Be really appreciative. But yeah, that's this part of the car. Let's move on to another one. So I guess another thing of note, and it's kind of hard to get a picture of this at all, you kind of have to see it in person. This used to be a Quest truck. So in Arizona, your local internet service provider at the time was Cox or Quest, which now is CenturyLink. And this used to be a service truck for Quest. Now, obviously, because of that, generally when they do service trucks, they tend to buy like the base model, but like update it and keep it maintained over a while, which is why my dad picked this particular one, because Quest seemed to take very good care of this thing. It was in great shape when we bought it, still is in great shape now. But they have since, if you noticed on the front bumper, there was a hole there. That's where they kept the key to unlock the truck. So you put in a code and you take the key out to unlock the truck. And on the back here, there was a Quest sticker. Now, it's kind of hard to see on camera. I can see it in person, but it's kind of hard to see on camera or take a picture of it. But there is a Quest kind of indent into the paint here, which I thought was interesting. Obviously, you can't see it, but I thought I'd mention it in case you see this. That is Krypno Games' Ford Ranger. How you doing? But anyways, let's move on to another part of the car that's interesting. I guess one last thing of interest to note is the interior and how well it is kept up. Obviously, when I hit the front end of the car a bit ago, both airbags deployed, and so amongst the things that I had to fix was the airbags and the crash computer. So I got the airbags, but the crash computer requires a reset, which requires some like special like tools and stuff, so you would have to do it with a service. And I did send it out to a seller on eBay who sold the service, but they said that they couldn't do it, and they sent it back for a refund. So I'm going to have to do that again. Thankfully, I did get it the most recent tags on it because I didn't have to smog it, but once it comes next year, I will have to smog it, which means I will have to have the crash computer reset. But, you know, that's for smogging. As far as the mechanical functions of the car, works great. Nothing really much else to say. So, yeah. Let's head to the outro. Alright, so that's me living with a 2000 Ford Ranger. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. If your feelings go beyond that, leave a comment down below, let me know. Should I become a car YouTuber? I don't know, because I'm a gaming and music video YouTuber, and for some reason my most viewed video is a video about my car. So let me know in the comments down below if you want me to make more car videos. But nonetheless, thank you for watching and have a good day.